All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Gigantic Interview this week, or this month, actually. We're going to be having Johan and Ben Freedman, which is in some relation to Gordon Freeman. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, you guys are distant cousins, right?
Right.
Awesome. Sorry about the
It's my crazy uncle, really. That's what's going on.
all good, all good. Sorry about the technical issues there, viewers. We've been Skype's just a lot of fun to deal with. So, but we're gonna jump right in, and thank you guys for joining, and thank you for your time. We're gonna start with Joe. Joe's on the left. Ben's gonna be on the right of your screen. Joe, first of all, how did you get into 3D animation, and why did you pick your career path?
I think animation was just headed there anyways. I think I started off first studying 2D animation, so
Hmm.
just like drawing on paper and stuff. But I mean, at the time, you know, it was all headed that way anyways. So I just rode the wave. Somehow ended up doing 3D stuff.
Okay.
At the end of the day, it's the same thing, really. Just
Okay.
making stuff move.
Now, you say it's like the same as 2D animation. How exactly does that like go from 2D to 3D, and how is that the same? Because I mean, like obviously visually it's different, but like are you
Right, right.
talking about like
Yeah, I
like
guess I misworded that. I guess I totally misworded that. But yeah, the principles are the same.
okay.
The principles are the same, but yeah, it uses the same ideas and the same principles to achieve same kind of goals, which is kind of trying to bring a character to life and get a
Hmm.
lot of motion happening and believable stuff happening. So
Okay. Now, Ben, in terms of like animating from 2D to 3D, I know that 2D animation is more kind of like stop motion based, or at least the old school version of that is going to be stop motion based. But what's like the major differences in between animation between those two genres?
Well, if you're talking about, I guess, genres meaning
Like, okay,
the
so
product or
like a
approach
Disney
meaning the author.
cartoon. So like a Disney cartoon, like Lion King versus like Toy Story.
Yeah. So I mean, in terms of actually making it, the animators who are drawing that stuff are, they're sitting at a light table
Hmm.
and, they've got like a stack of papers and they'll do a drawing. And in order to actually see how those drawings are transitioning between each other, they have to like flip between those drawings just to see like what the difference in pose is over time.
Oh
So
wow.
they're actually manually flipping those to see. Whereas, in 3D, you're kind of like pressing the play button and you
It's
can
all in
kind of
real
watch it
time,
move.
right? Right. Okay.
Yeah. So
So
it's just a totally different approach.
okay. In your whole career path, Ben, what was like the driving inspiration for you to choose the career path that you're on right now?
So I guess when I went to college, I had the intention of becoming. I knew I wanted to get into games,
Hmm.
and initially I went into computer science.
Okay.
Um, After about a year, I realized, I was drawing in my classes, and I'm like, maybe if I'm drawing in my computer science classes, maybe computer science is not the thing I actually want to do. Maybe actually art is the thing I want to do. So
Okay.
I ended up switching schools entirely and moving across the country to go to an art school. So,
Oh wow. Okay. So you said you moved across the country. From where to where did you exactly move?
so I was at the time I was going to school in Michigan.
Okay.
So I ended up
Go
moving from
blue.
Michigan to Seattle to go to school.
All right. Wow, that's now that had to be like a huge, not only like weather shock, but kind of culture shock. Because I mean, I live in Ohio, and the whole weather is pretty much the same. But like Ohio gets like massive amounts of snow, and Seattle gets massive amounts of rain. So was that hard to get used to?
No, no, actually, it's sort of in my opinion, the weather is actually the same. It's just you're exchanging snow for rain.
Okay.
Uh, it's almost like the same pattern but milder. If that makes
No,
sense.
that's completely fair. That's completely fair. All right, so Joe, I want to ask you a couple questions. What first of all, what is your favorite color, and how does that relate to uh, your animation style?
um, I don't think it relates to the animation style. I don't really have a favorite color. I'm actually like a big believer in gray. I love the fact that it meets somewhere in the middle. It's
Okay.
like it's accommodating to everything. It's a
Hmm.
little bit of all, you know. I'm a
All
big
right.
gray person.
Hey,
It's
that's
easy
all
to
right.
match, you know.
That's true. Gray is extremely easy to match. It really pretty much goes with anything except for like
Yeah.
neon colors, which is, neon colors don't go with anything. So,
And they have their place too, you know. But you know, I don't know how it relates to animation, but
all
yeah,
right.
there is a favorite shade. I guess I like,
Now,
and it's somewhere in the middle.
in terms of animating, what would be like your preferred program? I mean, we have 3D Max, Maya, Blender, and that kind of.
Sure. Let's see. Well, we all use Maya here.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the standard, I think.
Okay.
Everyone, everyone that's doing any kind of 3D animation is probably using Maya at this point. If
Hmm.
not, it's probably 3D Max. But you know, it's just a tool. You know,
Right.
it's no different than a piece of paper and a pen.
Okay. All right. Now, in your professional opinion, what would be the food of choice while sitting down at a computer and animating for 12 and a half hours?
Coffee, then.
Coffee. Well, that's technically
Yeah.
a liquid. I'm not sure if that counts as a food, but
Well, if you chew it, it's a food. But you know,
you just kind of chew the coffee
yeah,
beans, right?
it would. I mean, 12 hours. That's a long time to sit. Well, I guess you would have to take breaks in between. But
Right,
yeah,
right, right.
and it's happened. But yeah, coffee.
Okay. All right.
I don't know what Ben's is. Ben, what's your?
Coffee is a great response
Yeah.
for sure.
And it's chewable too.
Yeah.
It is chewable. It goes through your teeth quite well. That's true.
Yeah.
Now, Ben, in terms of like the animation genre and it becoming more and more prevalent in the gaming community, in the movie community, and all that other just amazing stuff, what has been the forefront kind of movie or technology, in your opinion, when it comes to 3D animation that's like setting the bar for the way movies should look, the way cinematics should look, that kind of stuff?
So there was for me, I think maybe 2 or 3 years ago, Disney did a short called Paperman,
Yes.
which I thought was actually really interesting.
Wow.
So the technology they used to sort of marry 2D animation to the 3D medium,
Mhm.
I was just like, wow, this is amazing the way this looks, and the way they're able to actually paste drawings onto 3D models and get them to change over time. I thought, I want that technology. Where can I buy this or license it? I want to do this. And I think as from the game industry standpoint, I think getting our hands on that technology would help us make more artistic games. If by some, by you know, if Disney actually licensed that technology to game companies, I think that would be really neat.
Right, right. I mean,
Or if we could get our hands on
Well, I
it's
mean, I was
Disney. I
impressed.
mean, it's
Yeah.
going to be $4 billion just to look at it. So
it. Yeah.
Well, so, yeah, I was so impressed that they spent so much time and tech and money to actually take us back into like classical, this gritty kind of,
Mhm.
the old school way of doing things. I mean, like 3D has always been so perfect and so clean. It's
Yes.
like they actually have to spend more money and more time just to make it more low tech in a way, right?
Technology
It's awesome.
is just a
Yeah.
weird thing because that you bring up an interesting point, Joe, where the 3D animation just looks just phenomenal. I mean, if we look at movies like Polar Express or any of the Blizzard 3D cinematics that they do, it looks lifelike. It's ridiculous. But
Sure.
then we have to spend money and time and countless hours going, okay, how can we make it look shitty? Like how can we bring down the quality so it looks like the old days where they had to hand draw every single frame and that kind of thing. So
Oh, I mean, yeah, totally. I mean, so when I was working on Lord of the Rings, there was a guy that he spent a lot of time, and Jason, he was awesome. He spent a lot of time just putting dirt on everything because, you know, nothing would really sell unless it was dirty. So he would
right.
actually spend the time putting dirt on like elephants and people and stuff that's in the CG universe. He was just good at putting dirt on everything, and it sold
Hmm.
the whole like lifelike look. You know,
Okay.
it's a lot of it's a lot of time spent just making stuff look not so clean, not so perfect.
Now that actually kind of segues into one of our next questions is What are your guys' thoughts on using 3D cinematics to show off a game instead of gameplay footage? And what is the pros and cons of doing that, in your guys' opinion?
I don't know. That's a tough question, but what's really cool about the cinematics that we released was that we actually used the game assets, and we didn't come up with like a whole new kind of, like we didn't deviate too much away from what you're really going to see in the gameplay.
Okay.
I mean, there was a lot of post processing involved and in that, but the models are still the same. The animations, well, it's still us. We haven't really deviated away from the game. We're not promising things that aren't going to be in the game.
And I like that
So
too, by the way. That's such a smart business decision. Now, I mean, in terms of doing that, what are some of the negative effects or some of the positive effects in games like World of Warcraft that have those really beautiful, super awesome cinematics, and then obviously the gameplay looks totally different?
I think it's not important. I feel like that the art style of the cinematics matches the art style of the game, but I think the intent of what you're actually seeing the characters do and the activities that they're performing,
Mm-hmm.
I think if that matches the intent of what the game is trying to deliver,
Right.
then I think players will excuse you for not showing them the gameplay
Okay.
because I think everyone probably agrees that the worst case scenario is when your trailer is promising something that you don't deliver.
like an Atari cover, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's like you kind of feel like you've been done a disservice because you paid for this product and it doesn't. It's the marketing does not sort of measure up to or I guess the game does not measure up to the marketing.
Okay, so why then do companies do that? I mean, like we've had games like Watch Dogs and or excuse me, Watch underscore Dogs, got to get that title right, that promise and show certain gameplay footage, but then it doesn't come out as promised. Why do you think that is? And do you think that in terms of the way 3D animation works, do you think that more companies should start using the in-game footage rather than like the super big cinematics that make you go, "Oh my gosh, that's so cool"?
Depends what your goal is. I mean, we can't answer for any other studios. We don't know what their intentions were, but
Correct.
like, I think it's okay if you go, you put out this hyper realistic stuff,
Hmm.
and in the game is not anywhere close to that. I think if you can pull off the same emotions that happen in the game that's happening in the trailer, I think that's the most important connection. I think it's not about the fidelity of like how many pores or how many polygons something has. If you can pull off the same emotion in that trailer as you do in like as you're playing the game, then you've succeeded, I think.
Cool.
I mean, as long as your trailer is elaborating on your gameplay and not
Mhm.
departing from it, I think
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
that's like the big thing, right?
You know, it's funny because when I saw your guys' launch trailer, I was like, okay, that's really
Oh,
cool,
okay.
and I was like, wow, that's really neat. And then I saw the gameplay footage that some of the people that did interviews. I was like, holy crap, it's the same thing. And like that was really that's foreign to a lot of us gamers because a lot of people just go ham on super 3D animation, and then they show gameplay footage that's just completely opposite. So the way you guys stayed consistent in your trailer, and then the gameplay footage was just awesome. So I mean, I gotta commend you guys as animators for kind of sticking with that choice, and just kind of I guess I want to say setting the bar for other game developers to kind of follow that, because I think that when
Thank you.
we yeah, you're welcome. When we look at that kind of stuff, it's nice to see a honest product rather than, okay, this is cool in-game cinematic stuff, but then it's 2D animation with platforming stuff, and we're like, well, that makes no sense.
Yeah. Well, I think also credit goes to our sort of the business side of
Of
our
course.
company as well for giving us the flexibility to kind of you know a lot of companies, when they go to make these videos, you're farming them out to either a third party or
Hmm.
like the goal is to hype, right? Like
Right.
hype is the
Correct.
goal and not sort of accuracy. Like accuracy kind of takes a backseat to hype, and so I think being in line, like having business and the authoring team be in line and in sync with each other is really a big part of delivering on that.
I mean, at the end of the day, too, like our limitations are our strength. We don't have like an army of 100 animators.
Right.
It's like we got our 4 animators. Chris.
Oh, there's just 4 of you.
Yeah, there's just 4 of us.
Wow.
Doing the animation. But we have a tools guy, Pat, and we have like people doing the music and stuff. But at the end of the day, we don't have an army,
right?
And we use our limitations as our strength. I think that's the thing. You're supposed to see our limitations as like this thing that we're supposed to, embrace and stuff. And
correct.
Chris Venture, and he really kind of like set our limitations. Like, yeah, we could do this really big epic thing, but we'll never get it done. Let's keep it tight.
Hey, you guys know your limitations, and I think that speaks volumes to the product that you guys are going to eventually produce. Because, I mean, just talking with all the other devs that we've done on GG Unleashed and a couple of the other shows, is you guys all seem to know what you're doing, and that sounds really cliche, but I mean it's refreshing to see that. Just from a animator standpoint, where you guys are just always constantly going, okay, we can't do this, but we can do that, and kind of not trying to overtax yourself, and I think that definitely shows. So
right. Thanks. Yeah. I mean, and like I said, I don't see that as a weakness. I see that as almost
that's a strength. Yeah, that's a strength, hands down. Okay, so I want each of you to answer this question. Ben, we're going to start with you. What was one animated movie that stuck with you and hit you and affected you the most emotionally?
I think like long-term effect, maybe Secret of Nim. It's a Don Bluth film way back in the day. It's like that movie is interesting to me because it sort of, I think it departs from the tone format that a lot of animated films sort of go through. It's a little bit
just for kids, right?
Yeah, it's a little bit darker tone.
Yeah.
Some things for people to chew on that they don't typically, it's not really put on their plate very often. So I tend to appreciate that movie. I think some of the animation in the movie is really, really amazing too. So that one kind of stuck with me a little bit.
Awesome.
In terms of American films, like there's a lot. There's a lot of foreign films that are amazing.
What did you just start?
Yeah,
you can go on, right?
Right, it goes on.
Okay.
Anyway,
okay. Well, Ben, since you brought that up, go into the foreign kind of market, if you will, and like, what was one of those that really stuck with you?
Oh, jeez.
You brought this on yourself.
Yeah, Miyazaki films are always amazing to me.
Okay.
Mononoke, pretty amazing. A lot of, now I guess a lot of series, just older series like Cowboy Bebop, Trigun, things like that.
Trigun was such an awesome show.
There are moments in TV shows where they bring in, I don't know what it is, they bring in like the guy who's just like amazing, and you can tell like for this 15 or 20 seconds, this guy is animating, the hell out of the shot. So
awesome. Yeah. All right, Joe. What was one movie that stuck with you emotionally, that was animated?
Oh man. Well, I would say, I really dug Iron Giant.
Yeah. Good.
In terms
movie.
of like, I felt like it was someone's almost pet project. He really brought it to the screen. It was something that he carried around with him. Mm-hmm. It was very meaningful. I mean, like, the story was great, characters were great, and it really brought a lot of emotion out of people.
All right.
I think that's really important. I mean, to do that with a series of drawings, to do that with a series of like, computer-generated stuff, to make people, teary-eyed and stuff like that. I think that's pretty incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think, that it succeeded in that way.
Awesome.
I seem to remember that film had like a pretty low budget in terms of like big budget Hollywood, like
sure, it wasn't
animated
super
films,
hyped
right?
up, but yeah, it was definitely a lot of love went into that movie, and it definitely showed.
Yeah, what they were able to do with like a smaller team, I think, like incredible.
Yeah, every time I watch that movie, I still honestly tear up. Just because it does bring you that emotion. My all-time favorite animated movie, though, is got to be Lion King.
Oh yeah.
Like honestly, I cry like a girl every time his dad dies. It's terrible. I'm just like, it's so beautiful. It's just
Yeah.
it's something that has always stuck with me as a kid because I think that was really kind of like my first animated movie that like really was like, oh my gosh, like this is like it kind of hits you there. But now speaking of like deep movies that are animated, Toy Story 3 was like just wow, that movie was incredible. And it was really deep for a kids movie. Like there was a lot of like really hard hitting underlying messages in that. Now, do you think that that movie is kind of help bridge the gap between showing people how powerful a 3D animated movie can actually be?
Well, I mean, a lot of times, what I really respect about Pixar is that they don't only just cater towards kids, and they're not trying to sell a kids movie. It's that the parents are taking the kids to see the movie too, and a lot of the jokes, the adults will get, you know, maybe the kids might not, but they're still having fun, which is really great. That
Right.
they're covering such a wide gap of ages.
Hmm.
They're not just catering towards like I guess what's the word? I guess they respect their audience.
Yes.
They 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 don't underestimate their audience. They overestimate their audience, which is great.
Hmm.
I think that's super important. That not to dumb stuff down, but to really treat uh, you know your product as if smart people are going to enjoy it. Smart people are going to like it.
Right.
And I mean the kids who went to go see Toy Story, the original Toy Story, are now the adults bringing
Right.
their kids
Yep.
to see it. Like at this point, I mean, it's probably a few years off, but it's got to be getting kind of close,
Hmm.
So, I mean, those people, they want to go in and have that same, feeling that they're not being,
Yeah.
their story is not being dumbed down
Right.
just to
Right.
entertain their kids.
No, that's very true. Now, in terms of 3D animation and it being more and more prevalent in the gaming industry, what is some of the things that you guys have seen throughout your careers that has like really I don't want to say push the boundaries of gaming, but more aligned, help push technology forward in the entire 3D animation industry.
I don't know. I feel like I see something every day.
Yeah, it's very incremental. Like it's one day there's a new feature that every game ends up having, and
Hmm.
suddenly it's changed the standards for everyone. So I feel like we're constantly rediscovering what's important, I guess.
Okay.
Trying to think if there's a big jump.
I mean, every day is like when it comes to animation or gaming or entertainment, like someone's always one-upping each other. It's almost like a game of leapfrog, and it's great. It's like I love the fact that we haven't reached. There's no end to this thing. It's like you're constantly striving to like be better, to do better, to show better.
Hmm.
Yeah, and
I mean, that last was was it the Overwatch trailer I watched. I was just
Oh
drooling.
yeah.
that's
Just
good
drooling,
stuff.
just
Man.
going like, wow,
Yeah.
or even before that, like we'll see like, stuff from like Journey or whatever, and I'm like, just wow, amazing use of color and ideas. So.
And the tech is driving a lot of times the tech is driving the art, and then
Hmm.
in the same way the art drives the tech. So it's sort of this cyclical process of artists pushing the people building the functionality, like game designers and engineers, to make better thing, and then engineers are like, hey, we can do this thing, so the artists are like, oh, we got to rise to the occasion. So there's just this cyclical thing going up the hill,
Okay.
to bigger and better things.
Now, in terms of technology progression, what has been your favorite thing that you guys have been a part of, or have helped actually shape or mold into something that we use standard today?
Root motion's pretty cool.
What?
Right? Like, I don't know. Are you talking about games specifically, or
No,
also?
no, just I mean, you guys are 3D animators, so I mean, you guys have probably worked on a lot more than just video games. So, like in terms of like the entire industry, like what has been something that you guys have seen that has like really kind of stuck with you, and just like, wow, I can't believe I actually witnessed that?
Wow. I don't know. Actually, I don't think I was. I mean, I've seen a lot, but I don't think I've actually like like standardized something or like just seen something that I don't really know how to answer that actually.
Hey, that's fair. I mean, as you guys said, the technology is always moving, so I mean, it's got to be hard to nail down kind of one pinpoint in the 3D animation history where it's just like, oh, cool, this is the best thing ever. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's really interesting to me because, like, if you look at the progression of how, not just video games, but like 3D animation has like just gone from, Bug's Life to, the Overwatch trailer, and it's now. Do you guys think that we'll be able to get even more detailed in like 10 years to come?
I feel like we may actually see a contraction in terms of like
Hmm.
how much detail people feel like they need to see. Like
Interesting.
I sort of feel like if we haven't already, we're going to hit this point where, um, as games specifically, as an industry, like the fidelity
Mm-hmm.
will become less of a striving point, and instead, we'll hit this point of maximum detail, to where people are not like, oh, it doesn't matter whether it looks realistic, like it'll be a sort of lateral, almost like
Okay.
we've hit this peak, and we can do that in this narrow game experience,
Mm-hmm.
but now we want to take that experience and widen it to a much broader sort of
Right,
bigger
like
experience.
we'll be more worried about art style than
Okay.
like how many pores you can see on someone's skin kind of thing.
I mean,
Right?
I'll be honest. I don't really care about seeing people's pores. So I mean,
You
I,
know,
I just want it to look pretty.
it wasn't too long ago that we were bragging about how many colors we have in our monitor. This monitor comes with 256 colors. And this
Woo!
monitor comes with 16,000 whatever, right?
Right.
Like now it's not even a question about how many colors your monitor has. It's more about what's the content, like what
Mm-hmm.
are you actually showing? Like what is the art that you're showing? What is the emotion that you're trying to get across and whatever? And it'll be more spread out that way, like Ben was talking about, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, like just from a game design standpoint too, like you have games like Minecraft that are taking a very sort of
Low tech in a way, right?
yeah, it's like they're not interested in the fidelity of the graphics, or
Right.
like
Right.
how much they can push the graphics. They're pushing the tech and what you're actually using those graphics for. And I think
Okay.
probably the next step will be seeing that sort of bigger set of goals, but bringing up something like Minecraft to the state where it's at that high fidelity graphical level. And I feel like we're already seeing that with a lot of open world games.
Interesting. Okay. So, like in terms how Minecraft, we've seen it progress, and we've seen it go through iterations. The skins are out now, and people have like these super high, stupid realistic things where it's like Crisis 4 Minecraft engine, and you're just like, why? Like,
Yeah.
I get 2 frames a second, but it looks awesome.
Yeah.
Do you think that we might start seeing video games open up the config files to allow, not just three animators, but texture artists and that kind of stuff, like adapt the games to the way they want it to look?
I would hope so.
Yeah, I don't see why not. Yeah.
I mean, there's things that we want to do, and sometimes tech gets in the way, but I mean, eventually we'll all get there. We'll eventually all create the thing that we envision in our heads.
Right. Awesome. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to the Half-Life 3 when it comes out. I'm not sure about you guys, but that needs to happen. Anyway, side tangent. Now I want to talk to you a little bit about Motiga and how you guys kind of got involved in this wonderful company and this wonderful game. Joe, I'd like to start with you. And how were you recruited into the family of Motiga, and did you
Got invited.
Oh, you got invited. Okay.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
I guess. I mean, I just kind of showed up one day and.
20-something people. I think Ben and Chris were already here.
Okay.
Already rocking, trying out different things and stuff. And Yeah, I mean, you guys invited me over.
It's like
Yeah.
we saw Joe's reel and we are like, that guy, we want that guy. He's rad. So yeah, we found Joe.
All right. Joe, where did you come from before you were at Motiga?
Oh, I was at Valve for about five
Really?
6 years.
So the
Yeah.
Half-Life joke was actually a lot funnier than I thought it was.
Yeah. Well, and I'm not gonna answer for them. I don't know either. I do want to see Half-Life 3 too.
Tell us all their secrets. Okay, so that actually kind of brings up a question. We've Valve is kind of like the big company that's like all about the community and that kind of stuff. What was it like going from Valve, this huge multi-billion-dollar company, to Motiga, where it's a small group, but the atmosphere's a lot of the same from my understanding, just very relaxed, very very just kind of casual.
Well, I mean, obviously, like being at Valve, it definitely raises the bar. Your expectations are a lot higher.
Of course.
You're looking for more than just this or that. You're looking for something special.
Hmm.
Because Valve is very special.
Of course.
And honestly, the minute I stepped into Motiga's office, with a little tiny little group of people that were just working on something amazing. When I stepped in there, I was like, you know what? This is not that far from what I remember Valve being. The cabals that are happening inside the studio, the kind of the I guess like the amount of creativity, the flat hierarchy kind of idea of like
Okay.
um, people collaborating on the same kind of goals and just basically being next to a bunch of people that really are motivated to get something special happening.
Wow.
I didn't really feel like it was that boring, so definitely I was on board with that.
Awesome. I mean, that says a lot about Motiga to have that kind of same kind of feeling, even like on a smaller scale. So I mean,
On a smaller scale,
props
yeah.
to Motiga for being awesome. I mean, we already knew they were awesome, but I mean, it's really cool to kind of hear that coming from a employee that used to work for just an awesome company that was huge, and then he goes and was like, "Hey, this is the same feeling. This is great." So I mean, it's really encouraging to see that, especially in the gaming industry, where a lot of it's just really stressful. A lot of people aren't happy where they're working, and it's just bang 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 bang, and no one really cares. But I mean, the last interview that me and Tim did, we talked to Chris, your CEO, and he was pretty casual. He just was like, "Sure, why not? We'll just talk and just have a good time." So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's really encouraging to see that kind of stuff. Ben, where did you come from before you were at Motiga, and how did you get into the family?
Yeah, so I actually worked with our lead animator, Chris.
Oh wow.
I worked alongside him at ArenaNet for a number of years.
Okay.
5? Yeah, I was working on Guild Wars 2, was there for most of the development and after a ship for a year.
Did
or
you
something.
animate any of the Thief animations?
Yes.
You're awesome. I love you.
So yeah, I mean the animators, there was very like sharing a lot of the responsibilities across all of the player classes. So
Okay.
yeah.
Awesome. I mean, again, ArenaNet, amazing company, very very good people. The game is
Mm-hmm.
fantastic. So I mean,
Yeah.
what was it like? I mean, obviously ArenaNet and Motiga kind of they don't share the same size. Obviously ArenaNet's a lot bigger now. But
Right.
what was it like for you transitioning from one company to the next?
Well, I think when you're in a larger environment, there are constraints that it places on organizational structure,
Of course.
and I think when you're larger, it's just by default the company is different. Like there are some organizational structures that are out of the question, right? Like some of the collaboration that Motiga has is sort of born out of the fact that it's a smaller company
Mhm.
and it's sort of nimble in that way. ArenaNet obviously they have that stuff together, but it's a much bigger company, so it places constraints on what you're able to do
Okay.
in that regard. But I don't know, I really enjoyed working at ArenaNet.
Well, obviously, I
Okay.
mean, it's both companies that you guys come from are just well known for being extremely just awesome companies.
Yeah.
Now, my next question about Motiga is, if you were going to get into a office Nerf war, well, who would be your partner and why? And you can't pick each other because that's not fair.
I would say our animation lead, Chris Venturini, because he has modded his Nerf
Oh
gun
no.
to shoot more than it should. If you take your eye out,
Yeah.
hey Chris, you want to give a little demo of your? No, never mind. I don't want to see this.
He's busy. Yeah.
His nerves
Yeah.
can make people bleed.
Yeah.
Basically.
He's not the only one who does that either.
That's
probably
amazing.
Chris Venturini, Joe Pico, they'd probably be on my first picks.
Yeah.
But yeah, it actually does happen. I actually thought it was like one of those things that you see only in the movies. Like it was it was a stereotype of like gamers and their studios and Nerf darts. But no, it actually happens here. There are people actually shooting each other.
Hey, that's okay. I'm okay with
Caught me
Nerf
off
Wars.
guard.
They're fun. Now, do you guys have like Nerf axes and Nerf swords all over the office just in case a war breaks out? Speaking of Nerf darts.
Is there,
okay?
is there a mark? Is there a mark on my?
Is that Matt? It's
Yeah.
Matt. It can be a little painful. Can be a little
Yeah,
painful.
that really hurt. I'm crying right now.
Well, I mean, you're
On the
bleeding,
inside.
so I mean, that's awesome. All right, well, guys, that's really kind of all the questions I had for you. I really want to thank you guys for coming on and taking some time out of your busy day. Do either of you guys have Twitter accounts?
I do not. You?
No.
Well, come on, it's 2014. You guys need Twitter accounts.
Yeah. We need to get with the program.
Darn right. Yeah, I want to follow you guys on Twitter and bug you and stalk you and be creepy. But
Maybe just for you, I'll make an account.
Okay, I appreciate
We'll
that.
get it to you. Yeah.
Is there anything you guys want to give a shout out to or anything?
I don't know. I mean, there's only two of us, but there's the four animators on our team, and Patrick is definitely like our Alfred of our bat. If we were
Yeah.
Batman, he would be our Alfred.
Right.
That's
right.
awesome.
That's perfect.
We got a really nice team here,
Yeah.
and we just want to keep making cool stuff for you guys. So.
Definitely. We are looking forward to all the things that you guys.
Huh? Katie?
Okay. We're definitely looking forward to all the things that you guys are going to be showing us at PAX South. I can't wait to see all the new information and the new trailers, the new gameplay footage, and all that other fun stuff. Because I'm real excited for that stuff. But Joe and Ben, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate your time. And remember to check out Gigantic's website at gogigantic.com. Also follow them on Twitter at gogigantic. To all of us in the community, we thank you very much for doing some awesome work and just being awesome. Community, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.